5 till 7 on Talk Radio 640 WGST.
Welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Health Tech Talk, broadcasting from iHeartRadio Studios in Atlanta on 640 WGST and broadcasting worldwide on the iHeartRadio network. We had a great first segment, but this segment is really exciting for me for two reasons. I'm about to add a new feature at the end of the show, but more importantly, I have a company on now that I am personally involved in. I'm an advisor of. I believe in the company. I especially believe in the management team and the CEO. So without any further ado, I want to introduce you to Nick Spring. He is the CEO of ReliefBand Medical Technologies. Not only is he it's an amazing company. This guy has an amazing track record. Okay, he started out, he was an executive at Merck for a long time. He launched successfully Topaz Pharmaceuticals, a direct-to-consumer, a consumer-based product, which he's going to talk about a little bit. He is a consultant and an expert in the area of healthcare, pharmaceutical, and digital media. Nick, welcome to the show. I am so excited to talk about ReliefBand. How are you?
I'm very well indeed, Dan. Good to hear you this afternoon.
It is great hearing you. All right, let's cut right to it, because I know the audience wants to hear. What is ReliefBand? And I understand, right, it's the only FDA-cleared product for morning sickness, motion sickness, to help stop nausea. So, but what is the company all about?
That's a very good question. Well, the company concentrates on developing neurotechnology and neuromodulation devices that actually sort of reprogram your nerves to stop adverse feelings and effects. So in the case of ReliefBand, which was a result of about $85 million worth of basic research, the idea was to develop something you could wear on your wrist. It's light, it's portable, you wear it on the underside of your wrist, and when you switch it on, it stops feelings of both nausea and vomiting. It was originally developed for use with patients who had nausea after chemotherapy and also post-operative, but we found it very, very useful for people who have morning sickness and also motion sickness. And the other big advantage is it has no nasty side effects. There's no drugs involved. You switch it on, it works, and when you switch it off, it stops working.
So basically, it's a device that I put on my wrist, and when I'm feeling nauseous, I turn it on, and in a few minutes or moments, my nausea probably will subside.
Yeah, most people we have, it takes about 2 or 3 minutes to be effective. It can take up to 10 minutes, and it depends on the intensity. The other thing that we've done, which I think is pretty novel, is really put the power of the control into the hands of the patient. So it has 5 different settings, so you can set it according to your needs and desires at that point.
Oh, so I get to control my intensity.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Oh, so that's amazing. So Nick, I understand there's sort of a rebranding going on with the company, a relaunch of some of the products, and a focus to begin with in the morning sickness market. Why did you pick morning sickness, and why is that such an important area?
Well, morning sickness sort of picked up in a sort of roundabout way. We knew that the product is very, very effective, and we also know there's, at one point in time in the USA, about 1 million women suffering from morning sickness. And the reason is that they're usually seeking something for relatively instant relief and something that doesn't have any side effects and no drugs. So it just seemed to be a very obvious marriage, so to speak, of the technology, its portability, its discreetness, and the fact it really works. So, someone can carry it with them. If they start feeling a little bit sick, they can put it on, switch it on, they stop feeling nauseous, and go about their business. So that's really why we chose it. Plus the fact, I think a lot of women speak with each other, and when they know that something's really good, they pass the word around. So we were quite excited about introducing it into that particular sector at this point.
And how has the sort of relaunch, and when we launched it into the maternity, the morning sickness market, how has it been so far?
The last year's been pretty crazy. I mean, you know this because you and I have been involved in it. I got involved with this company around about May, June last year because I really loved the concept. The product itself hadn't actually ever been launched over the counter in the USA. And we saw that really it was a technology whose time had come. The great thing about it is that, you know, you see a lot of technology around, and they might be slightly ahead of their time, and they're launched and then really take off. Well, we're lucky. This was originally launched 10 years ago, but now we're in a world where people do wear digital devices, digital watches, digital therapy, and rather uniquely, we're the only one that's FDA cleared. So we felt it's about time to relaunch this and reintroduce it into the market, and we have. It's been very successful. We've more than doubled sales in a year.
Well, that's amazing. So it's like a good wine, right? When it first came into market, right, it wasn't a digital wearable. No one was wearing a Nike Fuel. No one was wearing any trackers. No one was using digital. There was no such thing as the word digital health or digital or M health. And now today, it's the rave. And I think one of the coolest parts about the product, and I'd love you to touch on this, because you and I both were at CES and we were walking around, and it was a sea of wearables. But all the wearables that I saw were basically tracking, and ReliefBand is totally different. Can you touch on that?
Yeah, when we were at the Consumer Electronics Show, we did notice that. I mean, we saw 60 or 70 manufacturers, and they were all producing very, very interesting and very cute-looking devices you could wear. But 99% of them did exactly the same thing, which was they measured how many steps you did, calories you consumed, etc. What we're particularly unique is that we're therapeutic, and this is going to be the next development, the next generation, really, in wearables, because there's a limit to what you can really do once you start staring at your stats, the amount of steps you took, etc., before you move forward. So with our product, though, you actually have therapeutic effect that's FDA cleared. And this product was highly effectively on all types, or many, many different types, both nausea and vomiting. And it's very, very effective. And we see that as being the next big step. I mean, consumers are saying, so what about counting? But if you've got something that says relieves nausea, or maybe in the future something that relieves pain, there's lots of other opportunities we could develop into.
So to me, that's the most fascinating thing about the product. One of the things that you hit on was FDA cleared. There's a lot of products out there to say they help you with nausea. But for a consumer listening to this show, or an investor listening to this show, how important is it and how hard is it for an organization to get something through the FDA?
Well, the FDA obviously sets its standards, and it was set up some time ago to protect the consumer in two particular areas. One was safety and the other one was efficacy. So really the FDA was put there to protect the consumer towards the beginning of the last century, to stop patent medicines and things making ludicrous claims that couldn't be proven. So anything that goes through the FDA really does have to go through a rigorous control. In terms of actually, the test it goes through and what it does and how it performs, and then how the results are reported and then judged by the FDA.
Great. And so, Nick, talk to us a little bit about NeuroWave. So really, when I click the ReliefBand on, what is actually happening? What's the science behind it?
Well, the ReliefBand science is proprietary. Basically what happens is it's attached to the side of the of your wrist, and just put a little bit of electronic gel there so you get a good contact, and the waveform, the electronic waveform, transmits up the median nerve on the underside of the arm. It goes through the medulla oblongata in the brain, and there it connects to the vagal nerve, and the vagal nerve is a nerve that serves the stomach, and that's the sort of sensory nerve that gives you a sensation of feeling nauseous or about to vomit. What we do effectively is we negate that particular waveform, and therefore you stop feeling sick. I mean, that's why, this product has been sold actually regularly in hospitals for the last 10 years to control serious medicine. Emesis, as it's called, that's nausea and vomiting to do with chemotherapy and post-operatively. So we've decided to take this product that's been proven, both in the laboratory and in the hospital, and bring it over the counter so the general consumer can get access to it. And it's very, very effective. And the fact you can reuse it means it's actually very, very cost-effective, too. You don't have to keep on going and buying pills. And a lot of the pills out there that control nausea make you feel very, very sleepy. So, that's what we're doing.
That is amazing. Nick, what are the other products that basically just work on pressure points do?
Well, you have a whole science called acupressure and acupuncture. You've probably heard of it. It's an ancient Chinese type of science. There are some products out there that are very, very mild. You might have seen them. They look a little like a sock with a little plastic.
Hey, Nick, I'm going to need to interrupt you for a second because we need to cut to a commercial. When we come back, we will finish on this topic and we talk about a lot more. You're listening to Health Tech Talk on the iHeartRadio Network. We'll be back after these messages.
Hi, folks. Alan Thicke here, and you've probably heard, maybe from me, that if you owe the IRS money, they can do some scary things. Garnish your wages, levy your bank account, even seize your home or business. You add on the penalties and interest, and getting out of debt can seem impossible. Back taxes are for real. It's not a game. But the game changes when you have a team of tax experts on your side. The professionals at Optima Tax Relief can immediately protect you from aggressive collections. And for a limited time, the IRS is offering a tax debt forgiveness program. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative. With the help of Optima, you may qualify for a settlement that saves you thousands. Nobody knows the game better than the Optima team. Don't wait till it's game over. Let their experts coach you through this. It's a win-win. Call for your free consultation.
Call 800-798-2477. That's 800-798-2477. 800-798-2477. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Are you suffering with hearing loss? Are you sick of people constantly complaining that your TV is too loud? Are you tired of asking people to speak up? Would you like to hear more clearly, but you don't want to wear a hearing aid that makes you look old? Then you need to try Listen Clear, a life-changing breakthrough precisely designed by top audio engineers to fit your ear almost invisibly. And you can adjust Listen Clear to find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And right now you can try Listen Clear absolutely risk-free with free shipping. We'll even give you free batteries for life. So call now. 1-800-900-5724. Listen Clear is lightweight and completely hassle-free, and it's practically invisible. Call for your 100% risk-free home trial with free shipping and free batteries for life. For free information, call now. 1-800-900-5724. That's 1-800-900-5724. 1-800-900-5724.
Hi, folks. Alan Thicke here, and you've probably heard, maybe from me, that if you owe the IRS money, they can do some scary things. Garnish your wages, levy your bank account, even seize your home or business. You add on the penalties and interest, and getting out of debt can seem impossible. Back taxes are for real. It's not a game. But the game changes when you have a team of tax experts on your side. The professionals at Optima Tax Relief can immediately protect you from aggressive collections. And for a limited time, the IRS is offering a tax debt forgiveness program. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative. With the help of Optima, you may qualify for a settlement that saves you thousands. Nobody knows the game better than the Optima team. Don't wait till it's game over. Let their experts coach you through this. It's a win-win. Call for your free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I'm Steve Sidkowski, a former Wall Street insider. I'm holding a book that will show you investing strategies which could help you earn the kind of money you've always dreamed about. And right now, I'm giving this book away for free. So who needs to read it? If you're in the middle of your career and worry you'll never have enough money to retire, you need to read this book. If you're already retired and your income isn't enough, you need to read this book. And if you don't want to be selling burgers at 80, you need to read this free book. It includes the strategy I use to make a 72% profit on a trade where the stock only moved 12%. You'll need at least $1 million to ever fully retire. If you're behind on that goal, you really need to read Trade Like the Pros. And you can for free by calling 1-800-700-1785. Skeptical that it will deliver results? It's a free book, so what do you have to lose? Find out how at 1-800-700-1785. 1-800-700-1785.
Welcome back to Health Tech Talk. You're listening to Ben Chodor and my special guest, Nick Spring, the CEO of ReliefBand. We're really excited to have Nick on the show. The product is amazing. It is the only FDA-cleared product that will stop or help prevent nausea and morning sickness, motion sickness, seasickness. The list sort of goes on. Before we went to commercial, Nick was explaining how it works compared to those pressure point products, and I think it's pretty fascinating. So, Nick, if you want to finish up where you left off.
Yeah, I think I was actually just remarking on the fact that, a big point about our product is the fact that we don't actually have any side effects to speak of. So there's a mild tingling, by the way, when you wear the product. But the most common side effects, say, for most of the drugs that you would take for seasickness are drowsiness, and they also have a contraindication that you can't drink at the same time. So, for instance, if you were on a cruise and you were taking them, then you might find that, you're not going to have much of a good time because you're going to be rather sleepy, and also, you can't drink at the same time, which may be one of the things you want to do whilst you're cruising. So everyone that we know who's used it, and you can go on to Amazon, for instance, we have a store there, and you can read the reviews yourself, is very, very ecstatic about the product and how easy it is to use and how effective it is.
So I want to touch a little bit on morning sickness. And one of my favorite parts about the product also when it comes to morning sickness is that it's an alternative to taking medications, right? And for all disease states where, post-surgery and so forth, where I'm already on enough pharmaceutical products. Is that a big selling point of the product, that it's a holistic or approach?
Yes, it is. I mean, the actual technology we use is called AccuTens, and the Acu part of that word is acupuncture, and the TENS stands for transcutaneous electronic neurostimulation. So it's a mixture, really. It's the best of the old and the best of the modern, the neurostimulation being the very modern. And that whole technology is really moving ahead very rapidly, largely because of the great leaps and bounds we've made with computer technology and IT. So, that's really where the two things come together, so that you're using really the proven elements of acupuncture and acupressure along with the new elements of neurotechnology, which are very exciting, and we're seeing huge leaps and bounds forward in every day.
So what are some of the exciting things? If I was going to interview you again in 12 months or 18 months from now, what do you see down the road for ReliefBand?
I think, looking at the adoption curve that we're getting, i.e. people using it and trying it and recommending it, I think you're going to find many more people are going to be using the product. I think people have got particularly excited recently because we upgraded the product so that we actually have a situation where you got replaceable batteries now, which means that you can use the product again and again. We're looking very, very intently at modernizing the design and making it much more wearable and comfortable and trendy looking. And we're also looking at having it so that we can have wireless connection, say, to wireless devices, so you can measure other elements of the of various parts of the physiology of the body. For instance, you might be able to measure the fetal heart rate as we move forward. So there's a lot of very, very, very exciting technology that we believe is just around the corner that we're going to bring into action on this.
So Nick, is there a possibility of down the road of licensing this technology into other wearable devices?
Yeah, that's another possibility too. It's going to depend on how those devices are actually built. But, I'm very, very optimistic as a person anyway. And the reason I got involved with this company really was I thought it was like a technology that originally being launched 10 years ahead of its time, as I mentioned earlier. And I make an analogy normally of things like the Laserdisc that was launched in the 1970s and nobody bought it. And then 10 years later, everybody was using CDs and DVDs, which is basically the same technology. It was just launched 10 years too early. I think it's the same with this. I don't think 10 years ago people believed something you could wear could actually have a therapeutic effect. Now everybody's walking around with handheld phones, watches. We've seen the iWatch come out and this type of thing. So I think, you're going to see this sort of really useful technology adapted into the actual products themselves.
Thank you, Nick. We've been talking with Nick Spring, the CEO of ReliefBand Technologies. You can check it out at www.reliefband.com. It is an amazing product. And, Nick, thank you for being on the show. And now we have a